Hello, we're reaching you live from our newsroom here in Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up on News Now, gunmen attack another police station in ENUGU State. Presidency faults resolutions of the Southern Governors, including the ban on open grazing. Repeated tremors shake Congolese city of Goma. Unnerving families still reeling from volcano eruption. Authorities in India's east coast begin moving more than 1 million people to safety as severe cyclone approaches. Thanks very much for joining us. Now, news in detail. I am Michael North. Gunmen on Tuesday morning attacked Iwolo Oge police station in EZEAGU local government area of Enugu State. According to reports, no fewer than 5 persons, including police personnel, were feared killed in the attack that saw the police facility totally razed. It was also learned most of the vehicles and other property in the premises were burnt down. Spokesman of the police command, Daniel Ndukwe, who confirmed the incident, said he would not give official statement until Police Commissioner Muhammad Aliyu returned from his on-the-spot assessment of the damage and casualties. Cholera outbreak in BAUCHI state has killed no fewer than 20 people in the state. The Commissioner of Health in state, Dr. Aliyu Maigoro, disclosed this at a press conference held at the ministry's headquarters in BAUCHI on Tuesday. We'll bring you details of this in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the presidency has faulted the recent resolutions of the Southern Governors, including the ban on open grazing in the entire southern part of the country. In a statement on Monday, the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, GARBA SHEHU, says it is very clear that there was no solution offered from the governor's resolutions to the herd of farmer clashes that have been continuing in our country for generations. Shehu added, quote, "But the citizens of the southern states, indeed citizens of all states of Nigeria, have a right to expect their elected leaders and representatives to find answers to challenges of governance and rights and not to wash their hands off hard choices by instead issuing bans that say, 'Not in my state,'" end of quote. Now, state governors in the south had resolved to ban open grazing and movement of cattle by foot in the region following a meeting held on Monday the 11th in Asaba, the Delta State capital. They had called for the restructuring of the country along with fiscal federalism, devolution of powers and state policing, as well as asked President Muhammadu Buhari to convene a national dialogue to address the agitations by various groups in the region. Meanwhile, the Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu has lambasted the Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity to the President, Garba Shehu, over the latter's recent comments on the resolutions of the 17 Southern Governors made at a meeting in Asaba, Delta State. Shehu, in a statement allegedly from the Presidency, was quoted to have gone against the resolutions of the 17 Southern Governors. Akeredolu, who described Shehu as an agent provocateur, said the presidential media aide was not speaking for President Buhari on the ban on open grazing, which is one of the resolutions of the SGF. This was contained in a statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant on Special Duties and Strategy, Doyin Odebowale, on Tuesday. He also declared that no inch of the space delineated and known currently as Southwest, and indeed the whole of South, would be ceded to a band of invaders and masquerading as herdsmen under any guise. Now, legal practitioners have called for a more coordinated and systematic approach to tackling crime, banditry, kidnapping, and insurgency, which is adversely affecting our nation's unity. Nigerian lawyers, alongside political leaders, made the call on the opening ceremony of this year's NBA Spidal Conference held in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The issue of national security, amongst other contending issues, took center stage as state executives and other political leaders spoke on the current situation. Governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, also reiterated the Southern Governor's stand on open grazing in the country.
What I am against is ethnic profiling, criminalization of the Fulani herdsman. I will never agree that all Fulanis are criminals. But certainly we agree that ranching is the way to go so that we can improve, because it has been in other places. But we should be very careful not to get engrossed in ethnic profiling that will make us hate each other, at the end of the day push us to the precipice where we'll be having another war and disintegration.
The Boko Haram we have today is as a result of this nation's ignorance towards the child education in the Northeast. Let's engage our youth. That's why I don't subscribe to the issue of importing billions of naira equipment to shoot and to kill even our children. Let's first and foremost as a nation accept that these people are our children.
We cannot continue to run this one command for Nigerian police. It can never work. It's not working. The time is now for state police, and this is a clamor. We must have state police.
While there is a role for the citizens and civil society groups in that process, the bulk of the responsibility rests on the shoulders of government to tackle the problems head-on. While efforts have admittedly been made, these have clearly not been satisfactory. Government at all levels must take charge and deliver on the most important mandate of their offices, the protection.
The Nigerian Senate is advocating for the establishment of a nationwide primary emergency telephone number for responding and reporting emergencies to relevant agencies of government. The Nigerian Postal Service Act and the Nationwide Toll-Free Emergency Number Establishment Bill 2021, sponsored by Senator Ibikunle Amosu, seeks to make 112 an emergency number to enable citizens have access to quick and timely response to all forms of emergency situations. The Senate Committee on Communications, during a one-day public hearing on the nationwide toll-free emergency number establishment bill, headed by Senator Oluremi Tinubu, says the toll-free emergency number bill will give Nigerians communications and the NCC the powers to supervise and ensure compliance.
However, the global postal industry, and indeed every facet of human life, has continued to evolve, thus requiring the Nigerian postal industry to rise to the demands of existing realities. As a result, there is a need to ensure that legislation for the sector is reflective of the times we are in. Consequently, this bill proposes an expansion of the current objectives of NIPOST.
Findings have shown that the availability of multiple emergency telephone and helpline numbers in Nigeria are becoming impediments for people to get accelerated emergency response from emergency situations. Therefore, adopting 112 as a uniform national emergency number will enable Nigerians to easily learn, remember, and dial the number when in distress situations.
Looking at the challenges we have in the country with regards to security, throughout last year, we spent the whole year trying to activate our emergency communication centers all over the country. Our plan is to have a minimum of one emergency communication center in each state, and that will be in collaboration with other stakeholders that will use it, like police, fire service, and many more. So far, 23 are operational. And we do hope before the end of this year, 9 more.
The Chief Judge of Oyo State, Justice Munta Abimbola, has sworn in 32 newly elected local government chairmen on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Justice Munta Abimbola administered the oath of office and allegiance on the council buses at a ceremony which took place at the House of Chiefs Parliament Building Secretariat, Agudi, Ibadan. Now, while inaugurating the chairman, the governor, SHEHU Makinde, congratulated the people of your state on new government at the grassroots, maintaining that the process which ushered in the chairman was free, fair, and credible.
Independent Electoral Commission has conducted this election and has declared and given certificate of return to all the 32 candidates here that are winners in their respective local government areas.
Well, as you can see from the state level, the governor has laid the precedents down, and so we have no choice than to follow. And once the leader is good, the follower has no choice than to do better too.
Now, Afenifere for collective transformation is demanding a young presidential aspirants toward the forthcoming general election from All Progressive Congress APC. This was made known by the Director General of Group Tolu Ajayi during the Southwest Benefit Conference held at Premier Hotel, Ibadan, Oyo State.
No longer what role does the youth have to play. It is a question of what role don't they have to play come 2023. It has made it very, very easy for the youth by passing the not too young to run a bill into an act today, and it's a law of the land. So no youth has an excuse to say, I cannot run for any office in the land.
Anyone that is above 60 should not even think of struggling for any political office again in Nigeria, because they have had their best, they have had their part. This generation is just wasting away.
Hello. Okay. Now, the Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, and women groups in Nigeria have advocated the amendment of laws that discourage women political participation in the coming constitutional review across the country. Now, speaking in Abuja, they said despite Nigeria being a signatory to various treaties to encourage involvement in politics, the 1999 Constitution does not guarantee adequate representation of women.
As it stands, less than 5% of elected members at the National Assembly. In state assemblies, the figure is 4.43%, and for ministerial appointment, it's just 16.2%. As a result, Nigeria ranks 185 out of 188 countries in women's representation. It is our fervent hope that the outcome of this national public hearing will echo the mood of the nation for a Nigerian we want.
We are all aware that several positions have been represented through memorandum to the Constitutional Amendment Committee, including the ones from the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and those of our partners in the Women Political Participation Technical Working Group. The other civil society organizations, we are all in conformity with the Constitution Nigerian women want. It is time for an inclusive Nigerian Constitution.
We look forward to collaborating in creating awareness and advocating for affirmative action, and especially the additional special seats for women. As we all coordinate and collaboratively move to the different zones for the public hearing, we want to deeply state that we appreciate the women's movement for all the actions and coordination that have been ongoing across the country. And we are hopeful that this time, Nigerian women will get the Constitution.
More than 100 youths cut across the 33 local council districts of Oyo State have benefited from a free entrepreneurial development training session organized in Ibadan. The initiative, put together by the Yoruba Professionals Foundation, YPF, was also supported by the umbrella body of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group, Ilana Omo Odua. The convener of YPF, Maxwell Adele, said the training is designed to create jobs in Yoruba land through promotion of knowledge-based entrepreneurship and empower Yoruba descents for self-reliance and economic development.
This type of initiative should be extended to all other Yoruba-speaking states and cities, because the performance of the trainees has been very, very impressive today. This means a lot, because I was asking whether the equipment they use has been imported or not. But if they are made here, then we are sure to have a very good nation, where we will depend on our own locally made goods not supported ones. And the effect of the type of training I saw this morning, we know, especially this solar system, is going to be a wonderful thing for the nation.
The training has been so impactful in the sense that, honestly, we understand the epileptic power supply in Nigeria is a monster we are coping with. So, to start with, basically, I'm powering my house with a mini solar. From there, I start to my street, at least to improve the security situation by giving back to the community a mini solar that can now use to lighten my community in order to prevent perpetrators of evil in the community.
There was violence at Ile-Ekpo-Okeodo, Yanipaja area of Lagos on Monday, following the death of a Hausa man reportedly killed by a policeman attached to Okeodo Police Division. According to eyewitnesses, the deceased was reportedly a motorcycle operator engaged in an argument with a policeman who reacted by hitting him with the base of his gun and sending him unconscious. The unidentified Hausa man was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Now, pandemonium broke out afterwards as the aggrieved group of persons made efforts to burn down the police station in the area. Calm was later restored as more police officers were mobilized to the area. You're watching News Now here on iBrandTV. We'll take a break now. When we come back, Africa News. Now, repeated tremors shook the Congolese city of Goma on Monday, unnerving families still reeling from a volcano eruption at the weekend that destroyed nearby villages, displaced thousands and killed at least 32 people. Mount Nyiragongo, one of the world's most active and dangerous volcanoes, erupted on Saturday evening, sending a smoldering wall of lava half a mile wide and downwards towards the city of 2 million people. The lava flow stopped a few hundred meters short of the city limits, but wrecked 17 villages on the way, cut the principal electricity supply and blocked a major road, disrupting 8 deliveries. The death toll rose to 32 on Monday, including 7 killed by lava, 3 by smoke, 2 asphyxiated by volcanic gas, and 4 who died while trying to escape Munzenze prison in Goma, said Joseph Mukundi, the head of civil defense in North Kivu province. Congolese president and the current chairman of the African Union, Felix Tshisekedi, called on Tuesday for the immediate and unconditional release of Mali's transition leaders, President Bat Ndo and his Prime Minister Mokhtar Ould. Now, the 2 officials were both arrested by the military on Monday, just hours after forming a new government, following the resignation of the previous one amid growing protests after only a few months in office. The 2 Malian officials spent the night in Kati, an army camp situated a few kilometers from Bamako, in the custody of the military, which appears to disapprove of the composition of the newly announced government. The same junta staged the coup d'etat that saw to the ousting of the elected President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita 9 months ago on August the 18th, 2020, following a period of intense civil protests. Foreign news now. The United Nations has urged political leaders in Samoa to resolve the political crisis through dialogue after contested election results left the South Pacific nation with 2 leaders claiming to run the country. First Party leader Fiame Naomi Matafa was sent to become Samoa's first female prime minister, with a court-approved 1-seat parliamentary majority before the incumbent prime minister refused to cede power and accused the judiciary of bias. A UN spokesman for Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on Tuesday the agency would provide support if requested by the parties. The results of the leadership struggle could reframe the East Islands nation's relations with China after Fieme told Reuters last week she would shelve a Beijing-backed port development, calling it excessive for a small country already heavily indebted to China. Authorities on India's east coast began moving more than 1 million people to safety on Tuesday as severe cyclone Yas neared days after deadly cyclone hit the west coast. The Indian Meteorological Department said Cyclone Yas was powering across the Bay of Bengal and would batter the eastern states of Odisha and West Bengal and also Bangladesh on Wednesday. Officials began moving people in cars and boats from low-lying coastal areas to shelters at government buildings, schools and other study structures. Pregnant women and children were sent to the government hospitals as fishermen shifted boats to safety inland. In Odisha's Balasore district, close to where the cyclone is expected to make landfall, volunteers broadcast alerts over megaphones urging people to move. Up next is sport with Jidechi.
Welcome to the sports update. I am Jidechi EZEAGU. Now, the arrival of sprint hurdler Tobiloba Amusan on Monday boosted Team Nigeria's camp in Texas as the team resumes its quest for tickets to the 5 relay events at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. Now, Amusan, who ran 12.62 seconds to come second in the 100 meters hurdles event at the Adidas Boots Boston Games in Boston on Sunday behind world record holder Kendra Harrison, is expected to participate in the women's 4x100 meters event, which Nigeria has provisionally qualified for with 43.05 seconds. Now, the quartet of Joy Udo Gabriel, Blessing Okabari, Mercy Ntia Obong, and Rosemary Chukwuma ran at the 2019 World Championships in Doha, Qatar, and Amusa will be looking to equal that. Now, the Athletics Federation of Nigeria officials feel Amusa, who holds a personal season best of 12.48 seconds in the 100 meters hurdles, will make up for the absence of Okabari. Team Nigeria will also be competing in 3 other relay events at tonight's invitational event. Now, these events are the men's 4x100 meters and 4x400 meters, as well as the women's 4x400 meters. Now, in other stories, Bayern Munich coach Hansi Flick will succeed his former boss Joachim Löw in the Germany's dugout after Euro 2020, the German Football Association announced on Tuesday. Now, Flick was assistant coach to Löw when Germany won the 2014 World Cup and has long been favored to take over from Löw, who will leave the job after 15 years in charge later this year. Now, Flick has also worked as DFB sporting director between 2014 and 2018, has made a name for himself as one of Europe's top coaches in 2 glittering years at perennial Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich. Now, Löw will be succeeded on the Bayern bench by 33-year-old coaching prodigy Julian Nagelsmann, who joins the Bavarians from Bundesliga rivals RB Leipzig next season. That's all for now on the sports updates. Michael, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Jidechi. Now, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has said that the legislative arm of government must ensure that adequate budgetary allocation is made for public health emergencies. Osinbajo, who was represented by the Minister of State for Health, Olurinimbo Mamora, spoke during the 4th Annual Legislative Summit on Health in Abuja on Monday. He also said that the COVID-19 pandemic exposed the vulnerability of the country's health system, while also commending the health workers for their commitment across the country, most especially by restoring already declining outpatient consultations in the first 4 months of the pandemic, Oshibajo added that public health security requires proactive and reactive measures to minimize the danger and the impact of acute public health events such as immunization, family planning, and keeping sight of other diseases like malaria. Currency in circulation dropped by 10 billion naira from 2.881 trillion naira as of the end of March to 2.8 trillion naira as of the end of April. Latest statistics from the Central Bank of Nigeria showed on Monday. Now, according to figures from the CBN, the figure dropped by 50 billion naira in February from 2.83 trillion naira as of January to 2.78 trillion naira as of the end of February. It had earlier dropped by 70 billion naira in January from 2.9 trillion naira as of December 2020. According to the CBN, currency in circulation rose from 2.5 trillion naira as of the end of October to 2.66 trillion naira in November. The CBN defined currency in circulation as currency outside the vaults of the Apex Bank, that is, all legal tender currencies in the hands of the general public and in the vaults of the deposit money banks. The President, African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, has said that the bank invested $96 million in its higher education and science and technology project. Adesina said this while delivering acceptance speech after receiving an honorary doctor of letters conferred on him by the Makerere University, Kampala, Uganda. A statement issued on Monday said that the award was in recognition of his outstanding contributions to science, research, and academic leadership, reforms, and thought leadership, as well as significant contributions to Africa's social and economic development. The bank's HERST project focused on three major areas, which were supporting centers of excellence, ensuring infrastructure and training in specific areas. Additional said, quote, "The African Development Bank is proud to have invested $96 million in the higher education and science and technology project, which ended in 2019. In his address, the Chancellor Makerere University, Professor Ezra Suruma, commended the AFDB president for his excellent leadership in piloting the affairs of the bank. Identifying skill sets has been highlighted as one of the basic requirements needed to start and run a business. This was made known by UTIBE, the founder of Nigeria's first indigenous loudspeaker manufacturing company. UTIBE was a guest on iBrand breakfast show Daybreak earlier today.
Skill set. You need to understand what you're capable of doing. Because you don't just wake up and then say, because Dangote is selling, you know, all the beverages and all those things, and then you want to jump into it. You don't want to wake up and then say, because Amazon has a big, you know, online store, you want to jump into it. There are some basic things you need to find out. Do you have the resilience? Do you have the skill? Do you have the, as it were, the knowledge? Because a lot of people jump into business without even knowing a bit of what they are going into. And it's like running into a thick forest and there is probably no route for you. You have to create a path. And in creating that path, you have to, it's like making a career for yourself. Meaning if I go in this way, I would definitely walk out this way. You know, so you need to hone that skill. You need to have, first of all, a skill. And then you also need to get a network of people around you who would, you know, show you the way. You don't just like when we were, everybody wants to keep their money. So if you're going to, you need all the energy you have. In Nigeria today, you hear of connections. Some people talk about good luck. You know, wishful thinking. Some people would just wish and say, if I had. But really, assessing loans or assessing funds has to do with the skill you have to bring on the table.
Okay.
And with that report, we wrap up news now here on iBrandTV. Please follow us on our social media platforms and subscribe to our YouTube channels for more updates. Thanks very much for watching. I am Michael Nath.